Okay, welcome to Into the Channel podcast, primarily about women's football. I'm your host, Dino Decespedes, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Grant Engle. What's up, man?
I'm feeling all right, buddy. You know, trying to just make it through the week. But I had a bright spot today when in the middle of a very busy day, I got the bat signal from the leader of the show, the man himself, Dino Decespedes, letting me know we had a draft this evening.
It's time to draft. Time to fire up the cameras, the mics, get everything plugged in properly. In my case, do about a minute and a half of research. So, you know, I know historically I probably have the edge from a draft standpoint. So this is going to be a real opportunity, man, for you to kind of make up some ground.
I don't know what you mean. I feel like I win every draft we do.
All right, well, I suppose
nobody agrees with me, but I feel that way.
You know, and this is where the personal part of the ITC personal record book, you know, really hurts me because nothing's published. It's just sitting behind me on a shelf collecting some dust. Anyway, where do you want to get started, man?
In our pre-show discussion, I think we discussed two things. One is that there's a match that we might as well both have on our big board as number one. And two, maybe we didn't mention this over text, but let's just get started with a brewski before we talk about that first match.
Let's go. Much
needed that.
There we go.
There it is.
Cheers.
All right, we're locked. Cheers to you, buddy. We're locked in. It's going to be a good Champions League.
Hell yeah. I'm ready. I'm pseudo ready. I could really use these 2 weeks. You know, I'm not quite ready for our full mega preview, which definitely make sure you're subscribed because that's definitely coming down the pike fast and furious. But I am ready for this very impromptu shotgun style draft. I think you alluded to it. There's a big one. The defending champions, Arsenal, taking on another show favorite, Lyon. And I mean, what a way to kick off the tournament. So this one is excluded from the draft. We're going to kind of put this one off to the side. There's 9 matches. So this allows us to go 4-4, you know, with the remainder. But what was your initial take when you saw that this one is going to kick things off?
I mean, that October 7th slate is a banger, but this obviously feels like the centerpiece and, you know, in an array of 4 great matches. Obviously, you mentioned you have the holders, Arsenal versus the most dominant team in the history of the tournament. Lyon won this tournament 8 times. Arsenal cut that lead down to 6 historically, so only 6 more to match Lyon. But I don't know. They got Chloe Kelly, so they might get there. Who knows? By the time she retires, I will say little wrinkle here, and everybody take a drink because I'm going to do it. Arsenal has to play Manchester City Football Club 3 days before they play Lyon. And obviously, I'm going to mention Manchester City as many times as I can because they're not appearing in the tournament. So I'm going to find a way to squeeze them in. But I say all that to say, Arsenal, just rest everybody versus City in the WSL match, especially Chloe Kelly. You can't be too careful.
You know, that Chloe Kelly revenge match. I mean,
I don't want it.
If there's anything left in the tank, if there's anywhere that you can dig down deep and pull out a little some extra things, that can definitely get ugly. But for your sake, for my co-host's sake, I don't want to see that. Even though I do root for, you know, that team in red versus that team in Carolina blue. Let's kick off the draft. So I think we'll just go. Well, we didn't decide on who was going to go first. I feel like we've never flipped a coin. You want to flip a coin?
Do you have a coin?
I do.
Oh, wow.
So I weirdly found like this quarter that's like dated 1967. And I just put it on my desk and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm like, this is a really old quarter. And turns out this is what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to flip it. That's part of our Champions League. Our Champions League most anticipated matchups draft. So make a call and I'll flip this bad boy.
All right. Tails.
Sorry, man. It is Boomski. It's heads. Sorry. Okay.
And I was told tails never fails. God damn it. It didn't usually steer me wrong in Madden.
I hear that. Okay. Well, I got the first pick. A little bit of a curveball. I'm going to go. I'm going to betray my board. I'm going to go with the third matchup that I have on my board, just because I love this matchup. Give me Real Madrid versus Roma.
Oh,
I'm not sure when this one happens, but I love these two teams. I love Real Madrid. I wasn't sure about Roman qualifying. And I was like, I'm not sure if these teams, once you've tasted a little bit of disappointment, do you really want to kind of fight through the qualify, do the whole thing again? But to Roma's credit, they came back and, fought their way in. And Real Madrid, I think they continue to ascend. So I think this is going to be a very, very juicy matchup. I'm super excited for this one. I had this one ranked 3 on my board.
I love it. Las Blancas, they bounced back nicely after their early league loss to Atletico Madrid, who we'll discuss later. They bounced back with 2 wins over Eintracht Frankfurt in the qualifiers and then 2 league wins. Alba Redondo has a goal and an assist in her last 3 appearances, which included 2 starts. I am very excited to see them take on Roma. Roma opens up the Serie A Femenil season at home versus Parma on October 4th, then takes on Real Madrid 4 days later. That match is October 8th. The match between Real Madrid and Roma on October 8th at 9:45 a.m. Pacific time, also known as the Lord's time zone.
I love that. Let's go. Early morning. Let's get the ball rolling. All right, man. You're up. 3rd pick in the draft.
I'm just going to go ahead and take Barcelona versus Bayern Munich. Ever heard of them? Barcelona has played 4 Liga F matches. They have a goal differential of plus 24. That's 25 goals for, 1 against. Claudia Pina has 2 starts. She has played 199 minutes. She leads the team with 6 goals.
Did she get 2 hat tricks, or was it like a 4 and 2? Or
I think they're spread out. I think they're a little spread out if memory serves. Yeah, and obviously, they're matched up against Bayern Munich. Bayern is currently level on points with Wolfsburg. But they're sitting at the top of the league in Frauen Bundesliga because they have a superior goal differential. Bayern Munich's top goal scorers are old pal Vanessa Gilles and Lena Oberdorf.
What?
3 goals each. Clara, oh God, I already butchered it. Sorry, Vicey. Clara Boule has chipped in 4 assists, and European champion Georgia Sandmay has 3 assists. And I'm just gonna leave this with the question, a question I will be wondering as the tournament plays out. We've already seen her do some spectacular things. Will 20-year-old Japanese international Momoka Tanakawa take her full star turn in this tournament? I'll be very interested to see it.
Oh my gosh. What a moment that could be, just like opening the tournament against Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
We had MLS Architect pop to the comments on our last episode, and we got to chatting a little bit about this potential revenge season for Barcelona. Upset. There's something about this happens too in the NBA when the MVP doesn't win the championship, and then they may come back the next year really, really salty because they had to raise the trophy knowing that their teammates didn't reach that same finish line outside of Liga F. But could make for a really, really, I don't know, motivated, extra motivated Barcelona. I'd be really excited to see that. But 4th pick in the draft, I got to go with this one. 2 heavyweights. Give me Wolfsburg, PSG. Obviously, we missed PSG last year. Wolfsburg, really good appearance last year after missing the year prior. So these are 2 teams that probably feel a little bit flat about how they each exited the last couple of Champions League tournaments. And these are teams with big brands, big aspirations. So it's going to be really cool to see them go at it in the first matchup. I feel like this is a sort of a true toss-up. Germany's second best, right? Against France's second best. But one of the matches I think we're going to, not quite, is it too early for this to be a measuring stick match? I think it sort of could be, maybe.
It could be. I have my questions about PSG. I mean, our pal, the great intrepid reporter, the trailblazer herself, Asile Toufeili, who covers French football as well as anybody in the history of the planet Earth, has pointed out that Paris Saint-Germain often treats their women's team as a money-making machine where they develop good players and immediately sell them off. I mean, we've seen them lose just in the past 2 seasons, Sandy Baltimore, Tabitha Chewinga, and Marie Antoinette Katoto. So I'll be interested to see what their attack looks like. I mean, they still have Rome Lukter. They have Nigerian attacker Jennifer Echegeni. And of course, in goal, between the post, the legend herself, Mary fucking Earps.
Let's go. Absolute legend. I'm gonna be excited to see Mary Earps back. Well, I'm not sure back in the Champions League. I'm not sure if you've seen. I haven't seen Mary Earps in Champions League. I'm sure she's made.
Neither have I.
If she has made an appearance, apologies. But this will be my maiden voyage with Mary fucking Earps in the Champions League. Very excited. All right, you're up. 5th pick.
All right. You've shocked me with both of these because I thought for sure, both times you started going, I thought without a shadow of a doubt, you were going to pick Juventus versus Benfica, who I will be taking here.
Interesting. I had them 6 on my board, so actually you're going to be surprised by my next pick too.
Okay, I believe it. Okay, I had Wolfsburg PSG 6th on my board, so I think we're all over the place here.
Wow.
Okay, different interests here. Regular season again for Serie A Femminile in Italy. That starts on October 4th for Juventus, who then has to turn around and play on October 7th versus Benfica. Disappointing Champions League last year for Juventus. They only beat Vålerenga on the bookends of the group stage and then kind of got clocked in the other 4 matches. I think they were pretty competitive against your Gunners in one of those matches. I think it was a 1-0 loss, if I remember correctly. But they lost all 4 matches they had to play against Bayern and Arsenal. And I'm just very, very pleased to see our Portuguese pals, Benfica, back in this tournament and make another run in the UEFA Women's Champions League. But it'll be a very different squad from the one we saw in the 23-24 Champions League. No Kika of Nazareth, no Mimi Aladu, no Jessica Silva. I'm looking forward to making some new friends.
I am as well, because I think the read that we've had on Benfica the last couple of years is like, okay, this team, a lot of raw talent. And I think over the last couple of years, whether it's watching Benfica or Sporting CP or Portugal, like we've seen some evolution just since we've been covering the sport the last two and a half years. So I'm really excited to see Benfica, making a return appearance here. My next pick, give me FC Twente and Chelsea. I think excited to see Chelsea. We talked about it last episode. A great representation of American players to be excited about: Gurma, Macario, and the newly signed Alyssa Thompson. And just Chelsea's just essentially the cream of the crop in the WSL, and they're very they're on the upper echelon of European football. And they must be, speaking of salty, they must be extremely salty that it was that team in North London that got to raise that Champions League trophy before Chelsea did. And between the roster, the talent, Bon Pastor, like the elusive champion, it's going to be really interesting to see if that pressure builds to a point where it becomes a hindrance, or if it just starts to feel like, hey, this team is kind of destined to reach at least the semifinal, maybe the final. And then on the other side, FC Twente, I thought really good showing last year. They played tough. They got rocked in a couple matches, but they showed up and physically they looked the part, like they can hold up. So I don't know, another year of kind of seasoning and growing and evolution of that club and that roster. It could be a really fun matchup, and I think we're in the bottom half of the draft, so these matchups aren't perfect, but that one I did have circled. That's one I'm absolutely going to watch. I'm absolutely excited to see what transpires there.
I like it. We're totally aligned here. Twente is sitting atop Eredivisie Vrown. FC Twente, Chelsea FC was 5th on my big board. Also, Twente's level on points, but they're 1 goal ahead of Ajax on goal differential in league play. Twente has a bunch of Dutch talent on the squad. Jamie Ravensbergen has 3 goals in 2 league matches. And what do you know? Everybody take another drink, because former Manchester City Football Club player Jill Roord is on the squad. And in league play, she has 3 assists already on the young year. So good job, Jill. You managed to leave Manchester City in order to play Champions League football again. Thank you, Gareth Taylor. Appreciate you, buddy. And I'm glad you talked about Chelsea's roster here, because I just want to like point this out here. So they have Ellie Carpenter, and who's this? Oh, this player. Oh, Sam Kerr. She's Australian too. So she's back. She has a goal. She's played 38 minutes so far in league play. I'll be interested to see how she ramps up. But so they have Carpenter and Kerr from Australia. They have Livia Peng from Switzerland. She's obviously not gonna play much in goal. But then they have Nuskin from Germany. Then they have all the English talent: Charles, Walsh, Hampton, Bright, Beaver Jones. They have Jean-Francois in Baltimore from France. They have Hamano from Japan. They have Vika Kaptein from the Netherlands. They have Guro Reiten from Norway, Aaron Cuthbert from Scotland, Johanna Ritten-Kannerud and Natalie Bjorn from Sweden, and then Alyssa Thompson, Katarina Macario, and Naomi Girma from the US of A. That, my friend, is an international all-star team.
Yeah. Shout out to Get Well Soon, Myra Ramirez, one of my favorite cafeteras from Colombia.
Great call.
I don't know, man. I don't like Chelsea, but I don't want to see them flame out. I want to see them hit their absolute ceiling and see their best against somebody else's best. I think we got a little shortchanged on that last year. All right, so I took 20. You're up, right? Three matchups left.
I am up, and buddy, we're leaving on a southern train. Give me STP, our old pals from Austria, St. Pölten, playing Atletico Madrid. St. Pölten's currently sitting second on the OFB Frauen Bundesliga table in Austria. They're level on points, but they're 6 goals behind Landhaus. Everything's coming up Landhaus, apparently. So we'll kind of see. Well, got to tell you, not sure where to find OFB Frauen Bundesliga matches on television. I'm working on that. But 22-year-old German forward Sarah Matner-Trambleau, we've seen her play multiple times before in this tournament. I like her. She's good. I think we should keep an eye on her. And also, how about another familiar name? What about Ludmila Maravkova, the 27-year-old Slovakian midfielder who has 2 goals on the young season for STP. Looking forward to watching her play as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I think took me for a loop there. I mean, STP Atleti 7th on my big board. What I like about this matchup, you get the big club, probably bigger budget, probably coming from, I don't know, maybe I should stay out of the economics conversation.
I don't know.
But a club from a bigger league, let's say, against a club that's got a lot of Champions League experience. They've clocked a lot of minutes. They've faced a lot of huge clubs. I think probably, you stack them up. I think SCP's faced tougher, bigger clubs over their last few years just from the Champions League exposure than Atleti has. So, I think it's going to be really interesting what this matchup looks like. Liga F's third best versus STP with all that experience. I think it could be some fireworks.
I love it. No, it's a great take by you. Atleti, getting there, getting their experience versus Barcelona and Real Madrid. But then it's a great point by by you that STP has just actual Champions League experience. I do want to say, I mentioned Ludmila Maravkova earlier, the Slovakian midfielder. Atleti does have a talented, actual Brazilian, 22-year-old forward, Luani, who had 4 goals and 4 assists in 1,000 minutes played last year in Liga F, but already has 3 goals and 2 assists in 196 minutes this season.
Wow.
And I think we talked about it a few weeks ago. I liked the look of Atleti. Now, obviously, I saw them beat Real Madrid early in the season. I watched that match on DAZN, but I they play physical. They run up and down the wings. I'm excited to see how they look in the Champions League format.
Yeah, no doubt. I think there's something about, these matchups where there's like a great distance, and there's just a lot of differences between the two. The countries are different, the languages, like even the physical profiles and the playing. Like, I just love that's one of the best parts of the tournament. Is like when we get to see like a real mix up here.
Absolutely.
I'm going to stick to my board. I almost didn't stick to my board, but I'm going to stick to my board. It's my pick, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, 8th pick. I'm going to take Manchester United.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Vålerenga. I wasn't going to do like that. I'm furiously Googling how to pronounce Leuven. I think it's Leuven.
Leuven.
But Leuven. Leuven.
Yep. Right, I did a little YouTube research earlier.
Let's go. Shout out to you. Give me Manchester United, Vålerenga. So a little bit disappointed, obviously, that Manchester United is here and SK Braun isn't here. But we talked about the Europa Cup ramifications of being able to get to watch a little Braun football still with some stakes, which we like. But this is another matchup of a big club with budget, have had their issues. Obviously, acting like a big club, but in theory, a big club facing this a Vålerenga side that has some fresh Champions League experience. can play tough, can play physical. They're not going to get bullied by this Manchester United side. I think it represents an interesting matchup, but on the same token, it is a little tough to be like, all right, well, how much different is Manchester United Vålerenga going to be than Manchester United, SK Braun was? It does kind of feel like it could take on the same kind of feel, but it is football. Weird shit happens. I'm going to be excited to watch what United looks like. I love a lot of those players. Shout out to one of the friends of the show at Reaper 2004 who stopped by and gave us some shit for our Braun take. Appears to be a United fan. It's got a nice United logo as the thumbnail. Talk about that one later, but shout out to Reaper.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Reaper. Not a jerk while giving us some shit and gloating. Totally appreciate that. That's part of the fun in this. Congratulations to you guys, begrudgingly. Yeah. So I mean, like you said, it's great. It's great to see a big club like Vålerenga play a small club like Manchester United in this kind of tournament. And but all jokes aside, Manchester United, man. Melvin Millard, she has 4 goals already in the young WSL season. She had a brace in 14 minutes versus Leicester, and then figured, I could probably be a little more efficient, and then had a brace in 3 minutes versus London City Lionesses.
Come on.
And then they go back and then scratch out a draw versus your Arsenal. So a good start to the league season. I realized I just kind of listed off a bunch of the roster for Chelsea. But so they have Melvin Millard, they have Maya Letitia, Ella Toon, Jess Park, Jade Riviere, Elizabeth Turlin, Hinata Miyazawa, Fallon Tullis, Joyce in goal. A lot of good players on the team. Fridolina Rolfo. They got players over there. I mean, this is just, I'm calling this the salt in the wound match, because not only is it Manchester United where it should have been Braun, but they're playing a Norwegian team that should be Braun. So it's all just a big kicking dirt in my eye, but that's fine. The wrong Norwegian team is led by their 2 goal scorers, Oleg Tveten and Karina Shevik, who we got to watch in last year's Champions League. They have a combined
players we really like, though.
Yeah, players we like. Yeah. Just, no disrespect to the Vålerenga supporters out there, but this is an SK Braun podcast. They have a combined 16 goals and 6 assists in top Syrian. So yeah, I'm interested to see it. I'll be rooting for Manchester United to lose because I'm a Manchester City supporter, but they're good, man. So you got me. Yeah, I admit you're good. You're in the Champions League. You're doing well in WSL. I concede that you are very good.
They're in their spot for sure.
No doubt.
Didn't have an easy road, we'll say, to get to the dance. But one last matchup on the board. Do the honors, please. Close us out.
Paris FC versus OH Leuven. Paris FC, another French squad that just looks very different from when we saw them in the 23-24 Women's Champions League. They're led by 24-year-old forward Lorena Azaro, who has 2 goals in 2 matches in the young Premier League season. She came over from Strasbourg. But I'm very anxious to see Leuven. They are debutantes. I believe they might be the only debutantes in this league phase, if I remember my reading correctly. They're also the first Belgian team to qualify for this tournament. They stunned Rosengard in the second qualifying round, and here they are. They're mostly Belgian players, and I just think this is another opportunity, like I always say, this is another opportunity to learn a lot, and that is why the UEFA Women's Champions League is a celebration of life.
Yeah, no doubt. And Belgium kind of, I think they exceeded expectations in the Euros.
They were scrappy.
Yeah, I think I had them like way, way down, but they were fun to watch. Interesting, playing style, unique playing style. So I think this one could be fun. I was excited to see, Leuven in the qualifying. I wasn't able to track down their match, but a Paris FC matchup I think is going to be pretty tasty.
Yeah, it should be interesting to say the least. And, I just want to see like what these, what Paris Saint-Germain and Paris FC, I just want to see what they look like. Like, they play these Premier League matches on DAZN and I watch them. I watch them when I can. I'm not going to act like I'm locked in watching every single match, but DAZN knows where the bread is buttered, and they're showing Lyon matches. And let's just say we also have a rooting interest in Lyon, so I'm watching those matches. So when Paris FC and PSG play Lyon, I'll definitely be locked in watching those, but this gives us more opportunities to kind of watch them in a great European competition. the greatest European competition. Pardon me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I'm excited. Clara Mateo, I'm scrolling through the roster. Clara Mateo is still active, 27 years old.
Yep.
I think with some stuff to prove, talked about the Euros, I think had a little bit of like an underwhelming Euros. And I think another show favorite, Selena Uhlhosin, defender who's now 24. I think she was a young, 23. She was a young 21 back, we're watching Perry the first time around, but we'll see her evolution of her game. And they play a really tough, fun brand of football. It's like they're sort of not PSG, so they've got to play, not like PSG. It's like it's always a fun, not quite paper rock scissors, but a clash of styles. Whenever it is PSG, Paris FC, or Lyon, and those teams get kind of like mixed up in the Scrabble bag. But I think we did it.
Can I just let you know one more thing?
Let's go.
Bonus pick, Hammarby versus SK Brann in the UEFA Women's Europa Cup. The Swedish club Hammarby is led by 21-year-old Swede Ellen Wangerheim. She has 14 goals and 5 assists in the league season. They're also led by Julie Blockstad, who we know is a good player. 10 goals, 4 assists. They're tough. They'll follow you anywhere on the pitch. They're sitting at top of the Damallsvenskan, but they're running into a buzzsaw. SK Brann, led by the 20-year-old wonder kid Sinja Gaupset, 8 goals, 4 assists in top Syrian. Veteran Amelie Eikeland has knocked in 6 goals and 1 assist. They lost dynamic striker Anna Ayem in April with an ACL injury. Get well soon, Anna. She had 18 goals in the league last year, and they absolutely would have beat United if they had her in this UEFA Women's Champions League qualifying, but that's beside the point. Let's fucking go, Brann. Let's go, Battalion. We will be rooting you on October 7th when you go to Sweden in what should just be a hellified matchup.
I'll wait for that. And somebody please find a way to stream this. Find a way.
Hit your boys with the link.
Find a way. Yeah. Let us know. We'll stream it live on our channel.
Sure.
I don't care. Like, let us go. We'll make it happen. Get a whole 1,600 people watching it.
Have you seen that guy who watches Manchester United men's matches? He's this blonde guy with glasses, and he's just having the worst time watching Manchester United men's matches. I'll send you some clips. He is hilarious. Unintentionally often. The dude is fucking super funny. And it's mostly me laughing at his pain.
Yeah, at first I was like, why would I want to watch this? And then you're like, he's having the worst. I was like, oh, okay,
the worst.
Yeah. Send that on over.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man.
I got some clips for you.
This has been another draft episode of Into the Channel. Thank you for watching, listening, hanging out. If you enjoyed the show or love Women's football as much as your boys do, make sure you're kicking with us each and every single week. Like, subscribe, follow YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to watch or listen. Leave us a review over your favorite podcast app. Links to all of our socials, except one, in the show notes of this episode. And a big thank you to my co-host, Mr. Grant Engle, for Bruce Wayne, Batman, Bat Signal, who I needed today was my draft counterpart, and my guy brought it. I appreciate you, bro. I'm ready for this tournament, and I think this episode puts us well on our way.
We're definitely on our way, buddy, and the feeling is mutual. We got, like you said, we got the full preview coming where you can dive in and talk about some of the other players. Obviously, we will be looking to find European players who played at some random colleges in the United States of America, so we can shout that out. And you know what? I always love doing a draft episode with you. We were actually working for people just like who may not have ever caught this. Dino and I, we worked at a startup years ago in Brooklyn, and it was around the time where that terrible Drake song came out, where I think the song might be called Draft Day. And the two people he shouts out at the beginning of that show, the beginning of that song, I think he says Draft Day, Johnny Manziel. And then maybe in the second verse, he says Draft Day, Andrew Wiggins. Now, NBA champion Andrew Wiggins, I'll just tell you, maybe the song didn't age great.
You know, the draft's a crapshoot, man. You know, it doesn't. You get to throw the dart at the first pick and the 22nd pick, or wherever Johnny Football was taken, and it's an absolute crapshoot.
But we both crushed this one. There's, home runs all around.
I mean, I'm happy with where I landed. You know, I've got a bunch of fun matchups, a bunch of teams that I want to watch. I don't think I reached for anything in the draft. I don't know. We don't have to put it to a poll, but we could.
I mean, sure, we could, again, just to watch me get my head kicked in, but that's fine. whatever you want to do, man. I don't know. Depends on how big the show is in Austria. Maybe we got a lot of St. Pölten fans who are still rocking with us from for the last 2 Champions Leagues.
Yeah, Austria, Belgium. Yeah, you're out here collecting these new markets out here. I appreciate it. That's a good strategy. All right, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Likewise, buddy. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Thanks for everybody for always dropping knowledge in the comments. Again, we don't know some of these teams. So if you are in some of these other countries and you're like, hold on a minute, you forgot about this player. They play in our domestic league. Like, let us know, please. We are thirsty for the knowledge. Thanks for rocking with us, and we will see you all next time.